Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Great to have you in the conversation. Just heard conversation with Steve Green, the president and founder of Hobby Lobby. They're going to stand firm. They're not going to surrender. They're not going to capitulate. They're not going to cower. Even if it bankrupts their business, they are going to stand on principle. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the spirit of America right there. That's where America came from, his founding fathers that had that kind of rock-ribbed, unflinching, unwavering, unbending commitment to principle and to truth, and a willingness to pledge their sacred, remember what the founders pledged, their sacred honor and their sacred fortunes. Let me find that. That just popped into my head. This is what the founders say at the end of the Declaration of Independence. I mean, they knew exactly what they were putting at risk. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And that's what Steve Green is willing to do. He and his family, they are willing to pledge their fortunes to the task of liberty. So more God's best to them. Love to get your reaction to what you heard from Steve Green and their confrontation of tyranny, standing up to it. 888-589-8840 is the number to call, 888-589-8840. Let us go to the phones. We can take calls on immigration, too. We got a couple of more immigration sound bites we're going to play. So you want to talk about Hobby Lobby, this Obamacare tyranny? I'll take calls on that. If you have observations, thoughts on immigration, we'll talk about that, too. Let's go to Michael in Tyler, Texas. Michael, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I appreciate your show, Mr. Fisher. I really like it. I do kind of go against what you're talking about with the immigration. See, I'm a cross-country trucker, and I've been doing this for over 1 million miles, more than 10 years, about 13 years now. And I go to a lot of factories, and I see a lot of Spanish guys and, women working in all these factories. So we're not doing anything about moving them back to Mexico, and they're working all these jobs already. So we're not really taking away jobs that aren't already existing because they already have the job. So my opinion is that we should, go to those people. They can get Social Security cards and get legal. That way, basically, we put enough of them legal, they'll bail out our Social Security system.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, Michael. This is how I'd respond to that, then I'll get your reaction to this. Right now, our unemployment rate, our effective unemployment rate is 11.3%. This is if you count up everybody that's not working and that has completely dropped out of the workforce. They're so discouraged because there are no jobs out there, they've dropped out of the workforce. The unemployment rate among African-American youth is around 15%. So we've got this catastrophic right now unemployment rate in America, which means, Michael, that there are American citizens that are out of work right now as you and I are talking because jobs are being held by illegal aliens who do not even have the right to be in this country. So how would you respond to that, Michael, that these illegals, yeah, they're doing work and they're showing up and all of that, but they are taking jobs away from American citizens? What's your response to that?
Well, to be quite frank, we took this country by force away from people. We didn't really own this place when we came here. I'm not really an American. I mean, I'm basically an immigrant myself from the Irish people that came over in the potato famine. But as for taking the jobs that you're talking about, those people that are unemployed now had higher level jobs, and they were educated for those jobs. And I understand that they're now out of work. But if you really look at it, I haven't slowed down any with the freight. I mean, my freight has not slowed down. People still eat, people still drink, they still buy clothes, they still buy all these things. So as for the the unemployment, these people need to be go out and they won't take that job where they got to cut a chicken's head off.
Well, Michael, but see, you're wrong about that. Alabama passed a immigration law, good common sense immigration law, about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, that said that everybody had to have their immigration status. Even parents enrolling their kids in school would have to have their immigration status checked. If they were going to receive a benefit from any taxpayer-funded program, their immigration status was going to be checked. And that went into law. And I'm telling you, Michael, that town emptied out. Classrooms emptied out. I mean, about half of the classrooms just became empty because Mexican families, Hispanic families, repatriated to their homelands, and including a lot of workers at a local slaughterhouse, the very job that you're talking about right now, these people left. And so all these jobs opened up in these meatpacking plants the kind of jobs that I'm hearing you saying Americans won't do, the next Monday, they had applicants, American citizens, around the block looking for those jobs. Every single one of those jobs was filled by an American citizen looking for work.
Unemployment rate there now zero?
I'm sorry?
Is the unemployment rate there now zero in that state?
Well, it's lower in those counties than anywhere else in the state of Alabama. Yes.
Well, that's not the major issue. See, 'cause like I said, all around.
Well, wait, Michael. Now you're changing the subject on me. It reduces the unemployment rate because Americans took those jobs, and now you're dismissing that. I mean, that's a pretty important fact. Yes, the unemployment rate came down because Americans took jobs that previously had been occupied by illegal aliens.
Maybe 0.5%, if that. It didn't do any. It didn't really affect. But what's really causing the problem of not having any jobs out here is the government and all their regulations. Obama, the Muslim in our head office there is what's killing this country.
Well, I may agree with you there that we have a stagnant economy, and that is clearly because we have socialist-type economic policies coming from our government. But what that means to me, Michael, it means it's all the more important that if we have a shrinking economy, which we have, or almost zero growth, it becomes even more important that those jobs be protected for people that have the legal right to be in this country. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, but 13 years ago, there wasn't this problem. Those people were still working in the same factory job, chopping off chickens' heads. So we're going to kick the people for 13 years doing the dirty job just so that we could give it to a guy who had a high-class education and now can't get a job? It's just not right. You know what I mean? We're Christians. We don't do that.
Wait a minute. You're saying you're saying it's not right for a nation to protect jobs for its own citizens, that there's something wrong with that?
I'm saying it's not right to take away a job that's already been held by somebody who's been here 13 years.
But Michael, what if they're lawbreakers? Technically, from a technical standpoint, they're criminals. Are you saying that it is wrong to hold criminals accountable for their illegal behavior? There's something wrong with that?
No, I say you're 100% correct, but nobody is holding them accountable, or they wouldn't be here right now, and all those jobs would be open. So that's the problem, is they're not taking none of these people away. There's thousands of people I see all these last 13 years working in these factories, like Tyson and all these big companies. They don't even enforce that law, what you're talking about. So what is a law without enforcement?
Well, I absolutely agree with you, but I would say, Michael, if the problem is that the law is not being enforced, the solution to that is not to weaken enforcement further. The solution is to ramp up enforcement. We've got good laws, which we do. Our immigration laws are fine. We just need to enforce them. It seems to me that that's the solution. Let's start enforcing the laws that we have on the books. Let's not make things worse by reducing enforcement even further.
Life, I mean, if we kick all these people out of these jobs as Christians, they're going to end up being deported, whatever. They'll end up on the streets, their children are going to starve. I mean, so let's be a little sympathetic to this cause too here,
Well, but Michael, you've got American citizens that are out of work.
These guys
that have children that have needs for clothing and food and shelter. Where exactly is your compassion for them?
My compassion's with them too. They're legal. They can get jobs. Look at the newspaper. I see jobs all.
Michael, if they can get jobs, why is the effective unemployment rate at 11%?
Because they don't want to work the jobs that are low-paying rates. That's why they're a bunch of bums that don't want to work. They're so high-paid they can't make their mortgage payments on $1 million home.
Well, Michael, the unemployment rate, that consists of people that actually want to work. They are looking for work, and to be counted on the unemployment rolls, you actually have to be looking for work. So these are people that actually want jobs and can't get them.
I don't know. I was on the unemployment roll for a while there, and you could lie on that stuff. You could just tell if you went out and looked and you really didn't. You know what I mean? There's ways around all that kind of stuff. But to be true Christians and loving Christians, there's got to be a better way. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the better way, Michael, is that we go to Mexico or any other country from which illegal aliens are coming. We go to them and we show them how you can build a prosperous economy in your own nation. We show them about the principles of the rule of law. We show them about the importance of justice to provide a stable environment in which businesses can thrive. We show them the importance of free enterprise principles and capitalism so they can grow an economy that is as robust and as strong and vibrant as the American economy has been. So the way we exercise Christian compassion, Michael, is we go to them and we say, look, you envy the United States. We can show you how to have the same thing that we have here. So the way we respond to this is by acting in Christian compassion and love to educate, inform, instruct, so we strengthen them without weakening ourselves. Now, the solution that's being offered right now, it involves weakening ourselves. And that doesn't make any sense to me, because then eventually we're going to start running out of the money that it takes to run these welfare programs that provide resources to these illegal aliens, and then everybody's up a creek without a paddle.
Well, I agree. I mean, the immigration problem is a major problem. You're bringing people from Syria and stuff like that, but that's a Muslim thing. I mean, this country is supposed to go that way anyway. Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well,
that's what the Bible
one thing,
says.
Michael, I've just got about a minute left, but you were saying that we stole this country. You really believe that?
Oh, yeah, sure. The presidents came over and killed all those Indians when you didn't take their land. We took this land. This is an American Indians. That's why they call American Indians. We came over here and took the land.
Are you saying that we stole land from Mexico, that we stole the southern part of the United States?
Sure. Have you ever heard of the Mexican War?
Yeah, and we won that war, Michael. That's how, Michael, that is one of the ways by international law that sovereign control of land changes hands.
Yeah,
If Mexico took aggressive action against the United States, we responded with force. It led to a war. We won the war. One of the fruits of winning a war is you get to keep the land. Plus, on top of that, we actually paid Mexico something like $15 million for the land. We paid them for the land. We paid them for Texas. We paid them for California. So no matter how you look at it, Michael, whether as a fruit of conquest or as a fruit of purchase, we have complete, absolute moral and ethical title to every square inch of ground in the American South and Southwest. All right. Well, listen, Michael, I appreciate the exchange. It's kind of informative, to kind of get a picture of how Americans, and Michael's a Christian, seems to be a sincere Christian, and just how a lot of people are looking at this immigration issue, and you begin to run into one sort of faulty line of thinking kind of after another. And that's where we want to stay in the saddle right here and keep bringing information and instruction, helping folks get their minds right. Back in 2.
It seems like every time you turn around these days, you'll find an advertisement for the newest relationship site that's designed to make it easy to meet your soulmate. Of course, they only help you meet someone, and you don't know if that person is really who they claim to be or not. It takes time to get to know the person and find out who they really are. But our relationship with God is different. You don't have to search for him or join a web service to meet him, because he's right there with you now. And you'll never have to wonder if God really is who he says, because he's given us his word, and it not only tells us, but it also proves definitively that he is exactly the same today as he always has been and always will be. In fact, reading God's word is essential for every Christian who wants to draw closer to God. It's how we get to know him, his instructions, and his promises. Why not get back to the word today? Visit knowhim.afr.net for more resources and encouragement. That's knowhim.afr.net.
Here's Dan Celia with today's Stewardship Moment.
Do you know anybody that has said, I will trust you with my immortal soul, but I won't trust you with my perishable material possessions? Have you ever wondered why Jesus warned about the perils of riches, even urging the rich young ruler to dispose of his wealth because it had become his God? Of course, as believers, we recognize that this man was not lost or saved in proportion to his poverty or wealth. He is saved in spite of